Yo guys, welcome to the channel. It's your boy AMG Denz, and today I am reviewing a very special piece of sim racing hardware because I have in my hand the V-PF1 developed and manufactured by the legendary sim racing hardware group VPG Sim. I've had it for a couple of months now, so of course I've got to know the ins and outs of it, and today I'm going to do a review. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's go. So let's start my amazing journey of how I became to acquire this Mercedes-AMG F1 styled replica wheel. So having done some sim racing, I said how cool would it be, if there was an F1 wheel inspired by a real life F1 team. And don't get me wrong, I think Thrustmaster had come quite close with their SF90 wheel, but I wanted something a bit more true to life, something a bit more bespoke, something with more outstanding features, that would separate it from anything else in the market. So I was doing some searching. Unfortunately, the bigger boys like Fanatec and Logitech didn't offer such a product. But then, if you keep searching, you'll find, and lo and behold, I did manage to find VPG Sim. So without further ado, VPG Sim are an amazing sim racing hardware company founded by two Italians in Mike and Manny. So they have a lot of passion, lots of passion, you know what I mean? Please excuse my Italian accent there, and please don't send the mafia after me. But no, jokes aside, I got in contact with Mike and Manny, and I was really inquisitive about this project, just what features this wheel had, how it distinguished itself in the market from all the other great sim racing hardware there is out there. And they were really reassuring. Their customer service time and responses to me were immaculate, and that's when I put in my order for this wheel. So we're going to go through some of the features, some of the kind of specs of it as well, and also I'm going to do a few demonstrations of my coolest things that I really love about this wheel. So let's get into that. So the first query that I had that I raised with the VPG boys was how would we make this steering wheel compatible with my existing sim rig. So as you can see, I've got a Fanatec DD Pro wheelbase that produces 8 Newton meters of torque. I've also got some separate, as you can see, Huskinveld sprint pedals. But obviously, for the most part, the important thing is just getting the actual steering wheel to connect to the wheelbase. So in relation to that now, the very clever guys at VPG have designed basically this base or backplate that goes onto the wheel. Then you've got this Fanatec podium hub. So this is basically what helps you use aftermarket wheels with Fanatec equipment. And then also to physically attach the wheel to the wheelbase, so you get the force feedback and the vibrations and stuff like that too. You've also got this Fanatec quick release. So another amazing thing I'll point out about the VPG guys is that they were able to order the quick release and also the podium hub and basically assemble it to the wheel. So when I collected it on collection day, all I had to do is basically plug it into the wheelbase, and that was it. So really good start from the boys there. And I'll get on now to what the buttons do, because I know I've had quite a few interesting questions and also a viral Twitter video about what every single button does on this wheel. So let's get into that. So for those of you that are really eagle-eyed, you may remember earlier on in the year I did a 2-minute explanation of what every single button on this steering wheel does, and the feedback from that was great, of course, but a lot of you wanted me to do like a fully detailed version of what actually is going on with the dashboard and what all of these buttons do. So let's get into that. So starting on the left hand cluster here, we've got the overtake button. So as we know, Formula 1 cars of the modern day use a hybrid system which recovers energy, kinetic energy that is, and then introduces it as additional power to the hybrid unit, and that can give you additional horsepower to overtake cars, hence why it's called overtake mode. The number 10 is for the dashboard, and it helps you get through menus within this dashboard in increments of 10 as opposed to 1, which we have on the right hand side. On top of that, we've got N for neutral, so this puts the car in neutral rather than first, second, third gear. So in a pit stop maybe, or even when you park the car at the end of qualifying in Parc Fermé, you can automatically put the car in neutral. On the right hand side as well, we have PL for pit limiter. So this caps the speed of the car and stops you from going above what the permitted pit lane speed entry is, of course. And on the right hand side of the cluster, we have the DRS button. So with this, on the Mercedes at least, it's a button, you press it, and then a green light will illuminate on the right cluster, and also it tells you on the dashboard that the DRS is enabled. So that's really cool. Now, moving to the rotary encoders then, on the edge of the grips you have basically differential controllers. What the diff does is it controls how much slip the inner wheel will have when you're entering a corner. So you have one for the entry of a corner, and you also have one for the middle part, or basically the exit of a corner, or for high speed corners as well. So that really affects the balance of the car and can help you get understeer or oversteer depending on the circumstance. Also, we've got your brake balance. So this basically changes the brake bias in increments of 5. So it's much more of an aggressive tool used for the brakes. You also have a very intuitive system called brake migration. So brake migration, what that does is when you brake initially and then you lift your foot off the brake, rather than controlling the brake bias using the BB minus or BB plus, which we'll get into in a second, you can set this to electronically adjust the brake bias as you lift your foot off the brake pedal. And what this basically does, guys, is it re-pitches the car either forward or backwards to give you more understeer or oversteer as you start to release the brake pedal. Very cool, and used at tracks like Monza, for example, or Baku, when you've got really long straights. The brakes get very cool, and for that reason, what would be 54 brake bias in one corner doesn't necessarily have the same effect once the brakes get cold, because you can't change the brake ducts. Very cool. On the topic of brake bias as well, you've got the BB plus. So this increases the brake bias. You can obviously turn the brake bias down as well. And obviously, the higher the number, the more of the braking force you're putting on the front tires, the more towards the lower the number, the more towards the rear you're changing the balance of the car. Now, if you put it towards the rear, you'll get more oversteer, and if you put it more to the front, you'll get more understeer, or the brakes are more likely to lock up, and that's denoted also on this dashboard here, which we'll get into in a second. Also, if you're looking at the lower cluster here as well, you've got OK button, which is just to confirm any radio messages and to confirm when you're coming into the pits as well. You also have a mark button, which is for the telemetry. So if you're getting some porpoising, for example, like Lewis did at Baku, and he wanted the engineer to see a particular moment in time in the telemetry, like a spike, you can mark that event in the telemetry, which is really useful. On the right hand side, you've got the torque, so that's for the radio button, and then also you've got the race start, which, as you can imagine, is for the start procedure of a race. As for these bottom encoders here, these three, you've got the strap mode. So this again basically influences the hybrid system. You've basically got a quali mode, you've got just a race mode, and if you wanted to turn it off completely, you can charge the MG UK. Going to put that back into the race mode. On the right hand side, you've got the high power performance, or I think it's high powertrain performance mode as well, and this is more to do with the actual ICE, the internal combustion engine. So you can turn the engine up or down, and you can interfere with that as well for reliability issues, per se. So there's also that too, and safety car modes as well for the engine and saving fuel, and the maps. And then in the middle, you've got the display in the middle. So this is for changing the display, and it gives you different readouts as well. So it tells me what my diff is, it tells me what the brake bias is, what position I'm in, and so forth and so on as well. And actually, for the screen, the top left box is for your delta, so it will tell you if you're going faster than your personal best lap or slower. If it's green, that is you doing better than your personal best lap. If it's red, it means you're slower than your personal best lap. On the right hand side of the cluster here, you've got the brake bias. At the moment it's at 53. These bottom two ones on the right here are to do with the fuel, so it will tell you how much fuel in liters is left in the tank and how much used on the last lap. You also have a timer here which tells you what your last lap was, and it also tells you what your best lap was, so you can use that as a reference for time management. On top of that as well, you've got what gear you're in, you've got what hybrid mode you're in as well. So we mentioned you've got, let's say for example, quali mode. So you've got quali mode, and if I press the overtake button, it will tell me I'm in overtake, and the middle will go yellow as well to tell me that. And on top of that, you've got the battery, how much juice is left in the battery for overtaking and for the hybrid power unit. And also EB stands for, ooh, you put me on the spot, guys, put me on the spot, engine braking. So again, in these cars, you can also factor or manipulate how much the car will brake by essentially engine braking, which is when you pull down on the gear shifter and you use the mechanical part of the gearbox to slow the car down as well, and that influences the characteristics of the car too. So that's practically all of the buttons explained, and yeah, we'll get on to some cool features I really love about this wheel now. So guys, moving on to the cool features, I'm going to combine two clips into one because I want to show you one, a demonstration of how the wheel behaves during some gameplay, but also before that I just wanted to show you the dashboard as we are at the red lights. As you'll see on the dash, it will give me a message saying the RPM is either too high, too low, or if the RPM is perfect with a purple dashboard. And this is using telemetry from F1 2022 and any other simulator as well to get the optimal start as we start the race. So let's get into that. Right guys, so another cool feature I want to show you guys is the dual clutch control system. In F1 cars they have two clutches. One is to engage and disengage the gearbox, and the other is to release the car at the biting point, as you learn on the driving lesson. So what you want to do, get the car into first gear, warm those tyres up, nice and toasty. Get inside your allocated box, preferably P1 because you're going to be the fastest guy with this wheel. And then simply hold the left clutch pedal in, hold the right clutch pedal in, give it full gas, and then release the left clutch pedal and slowly release the right clutch pedal. See there, immaculate start, no wheel spin, and away we go. Cool feature, eh? So guys, another thing I wanted to show you is how you change the dashboard on the steering wheel. So firstly of all, it's really not that complicated actually. You get an app with the wheel called VPG Wheel Configurator, so you double click on that. Then you go to the dashboard upload section. So this is where you can pick out whatever dashboard you want. Then you click on select dashboard even. I knew that. And then you have an array of dashboards that come with the wheel. Big shout out to Sam STS, which is the developer and basically the designer for all of the dashboards that go with the VPG display. So in here you can see the folder. I've got a Porsche steering wheel dashboard, I've got a Lamborghini one, I've got the Mercedes GT3, the Ferrari 488, a couple of Dallara ones as well, even one for the Corvette too. So there's a mixture in here, but for demonstrative purposes, we will go with the GT3 Porsche. So we click on that, press open, and then it's as easy as just pressing upload. So it will tell you not to cancel the process, or else you could damage the wheel, of course. VPG wheel does come with a warranty. And then you just sit there, you just make yourself a nice little drink, a nice coffee. The wheel will go into its kind of like update mode where it will change the dashboard. It might take a couple of seconds. In fact, it's saying here it might take up to 47 seconds. So that's not bad. Not bad at all, really. So what I'll do, guys, is I'll skip to the bit where it's done 100% and show you what that looks like when that's done. So guys, by the power of editing magic, we're back now. The wheel is updated and should have the new Porsche dashboard as well. So what we can do, we can close down the configurator, and then the only other app you need for the dashboard is something called Sim Hub. So you click on Sim Hub. Other hubs are available. Wink wink. And once that loads, you pick the simulator you want to go into. So let's say iRacing, for example, that's already selected in games. And you scroll down and then you go to next gen display, and that's what this kind of once I drop my mouse, this is what this kind of display is called. It's a next gen display. So you can scroll down, you click the corresponding template you want to use. So in this case, it's going to be the Porsche 911 GT3 dashboard for iRacing. You click apply and then refresh, and in the bottom right hand corner, if the web camera picks it up, it will tell you the sim and also the template name as well, which is great. So now what we'll do, by the power of magic again, we're going to go into iRacing. We've got our 911 GT3R right here, and then by the power of magic, when we load into the circuit, I'll show you this Porsche dashboard on a Mercedes wheel. I know, right? Super cursed. Perfect, guys. Now you can see the Porsche dashboard is loading up, and we will get on the circuit. And just like in the actual sim itself, the dashboard is exactly the same on the wheel as well, and it's super cool. So I'm going to zoom in a bit. Hopefully you guys should be able to pick this up. But either way, you've got your oil temperature, you've got the oil pressure, you've got the water temperature. This one tells you the track state, so it's telling you that at the moment it's got lots of rubber out there, which is great for grip. You've got your engine map, you've got your throttle shape, you've got the tire pressure, you've got your lap time and predicted time as well, with the delta that would be in the top right hand corner with the fuel level. On top of that as well, you've got your ABS number, your brake bias for the brakes, and obviously the 2 traction controls as well. So really awesome. It's also another screen there too, so a second page that gives you secondary information. So this one's more about the fuel usage, how much you've used, and how much you use per lap, which is really good information to have as well, which is great. And then just like with the Mercedes dashboard as well, if you press something, let's say the brake bias, you get a notification that comes up as well that gives you an alarm. So that's pretty cool. And let's see, ABS, that's good. What else is there? Is anything on the left hand side do anything? Have I set that up? Yeah, the traction control as well. So again, really awesome stuff from the VPG and also Sam as well. Huge credit to Sam for designing this, because it's amazing. It just adds to the immersion, and it just shows that this wheel is more than just a one trick pony. Right guys, another cool feature I want to show you guys is within SimHub itself. So we're just in here to change the dashboard as I showed you earlier. But another cool thing I use this for, which is really useful, if I can find it, is, drum roll, drum roll, drum roll, drum roll, the statistics. So let's say for example you're training for an event and you want to know what your times are, and there's like not really a facility in the simulator that shows you what your times are. You can go inside SimHub, go in the statistics section, and then it shows you what your lap times were, how your sectors were, and what your average speed was throughout the entire session. So again, if you want to collect some data, if you want to like know what your tire wear is after a stint and how that implicates the times you set, you can go in this section of SimHub as well and use this as well as a really good strategy management tool. So again, awesome feature with the data that gets collected from the wheel, another thing that makes this wheel stand out from others. So guys, with that in mind, this is my review of the V-PF1. Great wheel, and in conclusion, what would I rate it? Would I recommend it? And what's the experience been so far? So let me start back to front. The experience has been really amazing. You know, the customer service from Mike and Manny has been superb. You can reach out to them over text, over Discord. They've got dedicated Discord as well, and even Instagram is superb. They come back to you straight away and really quickly on any queries or technical support you need. So thumbs up. In terms of the racing experience, it's definitely added a new dynamic to the way I go racing, you know, because of the information that you have with the telemetry it collects, the sense of immersion it gives you with the dashboard and how customizable that is as well, which is super cool. And on top of that as well, just how unique the experience is and how much it adds to the racing. And even just how it feels in your hand, it feels sturdy and it feels like something you could have for the rest of your life. So yeah, like really happy with that too. In terms of would I recommend it, I would. You know, if you're in the market and you're looking for something as niche as this, I would say you can't really go wrong. And in terms of something that comes as close to the real life Mercedes team and the real F1 experience, I think this is the best one on the market, you know. So I'd highly recommend it, and can't think of it highly enough. In terms of value for money, it is expensive, you know. It's a 2 grand steering wheel, so you know, it's gonna be a question I think a lot of people need to ask themselves as to whether or not they want to make that investment. But for me, I wanted to take a chance on VPG. I wanted to see them grow as a company, seeing that you know they were 2 individuals looking to basically make a dream a reality. And I'm really happy with the purchase, and this is the kind of work that they continue to do. They're working on a Red Bull one, so hopefully Mike, Manny, you guys can let me get a little exclusive of that as well to review on the channel at some stage. But irregardless if that happens or not, super happy to be part of the VPG family, and yeah, happy to be one of their customers. So it's positive from my side. Guys, if you have anything you want to know about this wheel, if you want me to do some more filming, some more kind of B-roads, anything at all, just feel free to shoot me a message. AMG Denz on all of the platforms, including obviously YouTube, which you're watching this on, and Twitter, where I'm probably more active. And yeah, just shout out to everybody as well that engages and makes this like part of my sim racing life on YouTube as fun as it is. But yeah, huge shout out from me guys to you for all your support, and looking forward to bringing you some more sim racing content on gear and hardware in the future as well. So until then, it's been your boy AMG Denz. I would appreciate if you slap the like button like Will Smith. I'm gonna put the links to VPG's website and also their social media, and Sam, the amazing Magic Sam that does the display as well, in case you have a next gen display and you want to have your own customized dashboard as well, because he's really awesome. But until then guys, been your boy AMG Denz, and I'm out. Peace!